Yo.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Well, actually, it's not Friday anymore. We can eat meat.
Good point. Also, we're already past our martinis.
Yes.
We enjoyed them during our show, which was Loki.
Loki.
Season 1, Episode 2.
I love him. I want to give him a big hug.
If that didn't come through on the microphone, she said, I love him and I want to give him a big hug.
And Owen Wilson, too. Mobius. I want to give him a big hug, too.
I mean, I would give Owen Wilson a hug, for sure. And he would be like, wow.
But he hasn't said wow yet.
I know. It's messed up. We're both haloed right now.
I know.
I dig it.
I'm trying to not...
Oh, I have an idea. Get it? I live for that look on your face.
I hate you so much.
Yeah, you do.
I missed you. A week ago, I was downtown Nashville, just like looking around me. I was not prepared for the amount of debauchery that I saw. Like, I was thinking, okay, Nashville, cool, country, yeah, not my thing, but whatever. And then I would go out at night with the group and was just completely floored. And I don't know, there must have been a lot of pre-gaming going on for people to be that inebriated, because you get a drink literally like this big, like a little, like a slightly bigger than a Dixie cup mixed drink, $10.
Damn.
Like, I'm sorry, how am I seeing a girl stumble into the gutter drunk off her ass?
How can you afford to get drunk in that scenario?
I don't know. This will forever boggle my mind. I don't know how it happens.
People
This gets me drunk.
Right, and I was about to say,
This does not.
people
So I didn't get drunk.
people like to be judgmental about people drinking at home. Oh, that must mean you have a problem. Nah, dog. Drinking at home was the best.
Dude, I paid $20 for a 750 milliliter bottle of bourbon, like Four Roses bourbon, not like top shelf Four Roses, but you know,
Still
spent $20 for a bottle of bourbon. That stuff gets me drunk many times out of the week. Not really.
But it does the job, is the point.
But I'm downtown Nashville, and it's like, well, and I was really pissed too, because it was a Friday and I wanted a martini, and I was on Broadway Street, which apparently you can't get a martini on Broadway Street because, oh yeah, so the first bar I went to, I tried to order martini. He's like, I can't do that. I was like,
Why?
well, I was like, okay, tequila tonic then. I got 2 at that bar, and then we went to another bar, and I was like, can I get a martini? He's like, oh, honey, you can't get a martini on Broadway, because the Broadway Strip is where all the drunk people are, and they don't have, and it's super crowded. They don't have the time or the resources to actually make a martini.
Time or resources? We've had martinis in Dixie cups before.
They've got so many people who are really drunk, like they've got to get through. I get where they're coming from, but I'm like, okay. So I held out for dinner the next night, and I got my martini, and it wasn't great.
It was over-dirtied, right?
Over-dirtied. It was supposed to be blue cheese stuffed olives, and it was not. And I didn't get a roll with my dinner.
It's like the worst night ever.
I was fine. I had fun. And I think Nashville during the day is fine, but Nashville at night, at least don't go on the main strip. Don't go on Broadway.
So what you're saying is the drinking culture in New Orleans is preferable to that in Nashville.
Granted, we were in New Orleans, still COVID. It wasn't as crowded.
Oh, yeah, I guess that could be a factor.
Yeah.
Also, it was a weekend threatened by a hurricane.
Yeah.
Which
So,
was awesome.
I've done New York City. I've done New Orleans. I was not prepared for Nashville. And Nashville was like completely open, like no masks. Like it was,
Sure.
and I just was not prepared.
Well, it was also kind of a recent opening situation, right? So people were a little extra party-y.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. That's a factor, too.
And also, a lot of dumb white bitches.
I mean, you were there on a bachelorette party, so...
Yeah. They were alright. They were fun girls. I liked those girls, but, like, so many groups of bachelorette parties, like... And I
Woo girls.
oh, yeah. And I know, because I read that I actually posted that article a few years ago. It had recently come up on my memories that a bunch of bachelorette party girls were complaining about the draft being held in Nashville.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So these girls, like these bachelorette parties,
That rings a bell.
were complaining because the draft was being held in Nashville and it was going to be, you know, oh, I can't believe, like, this is going to totally ruin my weekend. I'm sorry, a bunch of guys are going to ruin your weekend. Don't get married then.
Yeah, it sucks when a bunch of 21-year-old athletic guys are about to get stinking rich and are looking to party. That must suck. What?
It's only guaranteed that one of the party is off limits of the bachelorette party.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rest might be up for, anyway.
Anyway.
It was fun. I would go again, but I wouldn't go out on the main strip because we went the one time,
We did.
and
It was great.
and that's why I was completely shocked because when we went, granted it was October, and we I think stuck to the bars that were closer to the stadium, but I didn't see nearly as much crap as I saw this past weekend.
Sports fans get a bad rap. They're, unless you're in Buffalo, they're a pretty cool group, typically.
Anyway, we are 8.5 minutes in. We should probably actually, like...
Discuss the show. Alright, that's fair.
So Loki, Season 1, Episode 2.
Yes.
The Variant.
The variant.
Open on a recap of Episode 1. Previously on, explanation of what variants are. Major wow, Mobius. Loki realizes he can't go back. Bad variant killing Minutemen. And closing shot on the cloaked variant. Loki variant.
Supposedly.
So the episode opens on, and here's where I said, what? What? Fucking what?
Yeah.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Ren Fair in 1985. What?
Woo!
I was not prepared for that.
Dude, Wisconsin gets so many shout-outs in, like, the stuff we watch. It's weird. And it might just be a thing where you notice it because you're in Wisconsin. But, I don't know, man.
But it should have been Bristol.
It should have been Bristol. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it used to be in Oshkosh back in the 80s. I don't know. But the Bristol Ren Fair is the big one around here.
And I think that's Wisconsin, though it's really close to the Illinois border, so I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, that was kind of a cool little...
I know at least once Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. went to Wisconsin. We were like, ah!
It's Supernatural went to Wisconsin like 3 times.
Yeah, they love Wisconsin.
So Minutemen show up. Agnes look like? Oh, yeah. The Ren Fair wench. Looks like Agnes / Agatha Harkness.
Right.
Tells them they aren't dressed up right. They go into some kind of arena. The speakers kick in, announcing a big battle. And then the song Holding Out for a Hero starts. I'm holding out for a hero.
Till the end of the night, he's gotta be strong and he's gotta be
Very
fast and
80s.
he's
Love
gotta
it.
be fresh for the fight. Yeah.
So the variant mind controls a Minuteman, well, woman, kills the squad. A fight song to this song.
Autocorrect was killing me tonight, but I said I always love a fight song to this song. Or a fight scene to this song.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, so the variant possesses, or mind controls or something, one of the Minutemen, which is a woman, C20, the leader, who then goes around and kills the rest of the squad. And then the variant in person shows up and drags her body away.
Yeah. Evil Cloak variant steals her tech and kills them all with the sword. So the variant is stealing the time chargers or the time resetters or
the reset charges.
Okay. Post credits, Loki is studying with Miss Minutes on the Nexus and stuff, which another Tara Strong shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Minutes is sorta alive. Weird cartoon thing going on.
Yeah, he like starts throwing. She's like a little projection, and he's like, "Are you alive or are you just recording?" She's like, kind of both. And he like starts throwing things at her, and she's like jumping out of the way. I don't know.
Goes into the computer. He's like, which, by the way, and I know Joe told me that New Rockstars did cover this, but tonight it clicked. Major Mobius, inverted Mobius strip from Endgame. Coincidence? I think not.
In regards to time travel, specifically, I think Mobius might be a given name, or a replacement name, or what have you. Code name.
Well, we'll get there. So Mobius shows up. There's been an attack. Let's go. C20 and B15.
B15 is
No, but C20 was the chick that was attacked with her team.
Yeah.
Loki is wearing a variant jacket. You said I need one. Turns out there have been more Loki variants than any other. Loki explains he can do duplication projecting. Mobius isn't concerned about Loki betraying him. If he's good, he might have an audience with the Timekeepers. Back to the Ren Fair. Loki asks why they can't go to before the attack. Mobius says it doesn't work. He said, "Did you even watch training videos?" "Yes, I watched them." Some of them. They go into the tent. C20 is missing. Loki tells them not to leave. He senses a scheme. Loki lectures B15. Loki says he's waiting outside, says he's the target of the variant. Loki says he needs an audience and assurance that he won't be disintegrated as soon as the job is done. Mobius says he's lying.
Yeah, so this whole scene, they go to investigate where the Minutemen team was taken, killed, whatever. And Loki, they go to spread out and investigate the area, and Loki's like, "Don't leave. It's a trap. I know.
It's a trap.
That's a trap. I know, my own tactics. And this variant is waiting outside. Anyone that leaves is going to get taken and killed by the variant."
He's very convincing.
He's very convincing. And he's like, don't leave. And he's like, I can help you catch him, but I need assurance that I'm not going to be killed or whatever as soon as the job's done. So can you get me an audience of the Timekeepers? And Mobius is like,
Yeah,
nope,
you're lying.
You're lying. You're stalling for time. This was a waste. And he's right.
So they reset the timeline. There's a visual of the time variance split being erased.
Yeah, we get the little computer simulation showing the timeline, and there was a red line coming off that shows the... Isn't it called a nexus? I refer to it as a nexus. But a time variation being erased, because that's what they're doing when they drop these little time charges, whatever, reset charges.
So back at the TVA, Mobius is talking to the judge from the first episode, discussing souvenirs. She says his last mission was a failure, and they're discussing whether or not to keep Loki around. Weird conversation about using a coaster, and they, did a camera focus on the coaster, but it was like a hexagon shape.
The coaster was, and there was... So, Mobius put his drink down on her table, and she kind of gives him a look. He's like, what? There's already rings there.
From you.
Yeah, from you. Oh, fine. He puts a coaster down and puts his drink on it, and it kind of zooms in. It shows these rings left on the table, and then his drink on the coaster. And I don't know.
I'm sure New Rockstars will cover it.
They will explain everything.
Because they've got some inside people. They have to.
They have to.
She says the Timekeepers are monitoring this case carefully. Mobius has never met them.
Yeah.
So how is he promising an audience if he himself has never met them? She asks if Mobius really believes in this variant. He says he has enough belief in himself for the both of them. Loki pleads his case to Mobius. Mobius, just shut up, please. They argue a bit. This is Loki's last chance. Work. Review the case files and give your Loki point of view. Pretend your life depends on it. Loki walks up to a librarian, asks for files regarding the creation of the TVA. Classified. Okay, beginning of time. Classified. Okay, what can... Oh, and also, end of time. Classified. Okay, what can I read? Variant case files. His own case files. Finds one about the destruction of Asgard. Entire civilization annihilated. Class 7 destruction. 0 variants detected. Loki tells Mobius the variant is hiding in apocalypses. They discuss timey-wimey stuff. In a Nexus event, I can mess up anything in the timeline with no consequence because everyone dies anyway, right? So, an apocalypse could hide variances. Because the timeline isn't going to branch. It ends. Take me to an apocalypse and I can show you that's where he's hiding. So meanwhile, in Pompeii 79 AD, Loki is all giddy about how cool it is. Mobius is too. They're looking for small disturbances. Loki runs off and frees some goats and tells all the people that they're about to die. Nothing matters! Dance while we still can! And Loki is right. No variance in the TVA. So the disasters have to be natural, no warning, no survivors.
So what he's explaining here is in an apocalyptic event wherein a timeline ends, entire civilization is destroyed, and everybody is killed, the timekeepers or whatever do not monitor slight variances. Loki went to this place in 79 AD and said, "We're from the future. You're all about to die. Here's some goats." Like, he fucks things up, and Mobius's little detector doesn't detect any time variances. So Loki is right that things that happen right before an apocalypse are not monitored by the timekeepers because it doesn't matter.
Does not matter. Just how...
You getcha?
Oh yeah, that's how I found him, and I squished him. I squished him hard.
So his time variance is gone.
Yes.
That's good. Man, they're feeling my leg right now. They're getting
Well,
fresh.
because apparently it's gonna thunderstorm. Like, this is prime time for them. So, Loki's theory pans out. Loki was right. So back at the TVA, they start reading up on qualifying disasters. Loki asks Mobius about the magazine on jet skis. Asks why. Mobius is like, because they're awesome, but Mobius has never been on one. And there's a nice relationship building conversation. They tease each other about their origins for being ridiculous.
Yeah, because Loki's like, well, what, you were created by these three time lizards.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to go back to. It seems like what the workers of the TVA believe is that they were created by these
three timekeepers
to keep everything in check.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy it.
Me neither at all.
He's got Mobius has such an obsession with jet skis. And he explains that, like, form and function, like, it's beautiful and it's functional and whatever. Like, I think there's connection there.
You think maybe it was pulled out in the 90s?
I like your theory that maybe all the people who work for the TVA are variants.
Yeah.
Again, I'll be interested to see what New Rockstars has to say about it. But then they get into a really interesting conversation. Mobius says, my existence gave me this, my own glorious purpose. And then they discuss free will.
Yeah. Which I think we started talking about in the first video.
There are 3 timekeepers.
I thought about that too.
It seems like it's going in a very Judeo-Christian direction insofar as now obviously 3 timekeepers, it's not a 3-in-1 Holy Trinity sort of situation, but you've got 3 entities, past, present, they're untangling the future. So it makes it sound like they don't actually know what the future is.
According to Mobius, but I'm convinced that's BS. They're not still working out the future.
And the whole argument is, so if they know past, present, and future, where does free will come into it? And I think the show is being intentional or unintentional, I don't know, but it's very Judeo-Christian because that is what, like, as Catholics, we believe that God is omnipresent.
Omniscient?
Omniscient. He knows past, present, and future. He knows exactly what is going to happen. But he doesn't dictate
what's going to happen.
He knows what's going to happen. And he knows what could happen. Mm-hmm. All the nexuses, if you will. But he lets you make your own choices. Mm-hmm. He knows what'll happen when you make the right choice and what'll happen when you make the wrong choice. But he is not going to sit there and dictate, you need to make this choice.
Yeah.
He just knows what you're going to do. And that doesn't mean that you don't have free will.
Right.
And that's really hard concept to wrap your brain around, but
it is and it isn't, but yeah. And that seems to be the direction the show is taking with these timekeepers, at least the way they've explained it to us so far, that it doesn't matter if you make a good choice or a bad choice. All they care about is preserving the timeline. Timeline dictates that you made a bad choice here, and that's what happens. And we can't have somebody going back in time and forcing you to make a different choice.
But isn't that what the TVA is doing?
Guess we'll find out. We might start to see those timeline branches loop backwards. That's not part of their propaganda, though. It only shows it going forward. But I think maybe by the end of the show, we're going to see a graphic of that timeline and one of them loops. And that's where shit's going to get wrong. But, no, it's an interesting explanation, and it kind of fits a lot with our belief for how omniscience and free will can simultaneously exist.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy, if nothing else.
So they discuss free will. Loki says this means there is none, except those in the TVA. Loki asks how it all ends. Mobius says that's a work in progress. Says the timekeepers are working on that. And again, Mobius says at the end, there's no chaos, only peace. Again, very Judeo-Christian.
Right. His explanation for when time ends has a heaven-like quality to it.
When the second coming occurs and people are judged accordingly. Yeah, I was very shocked that they went there.
Yeah.
It's very, very, not even Judeo-Christian, just like flat out Christian.
Right.
So.
I'm sure by the end of the show, they're going to reveal that none of it is real, and they're going to, insult Christianity or something, but whatever.
Yeah, well, the timekeepers are going to be evil or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah, look at that.
They have the whole TVA convinced of this, and nobody questions it.
But Mobius is going to question it because
Loki's going to...
Well, in that conversation with the judge, she had even said... She pointed out some personality quirks of Loki, and she's like, it reminds me of someone else, very heavily implying that was Mobius.
Yes. So, we're seeing some potential Mobius character development that implies that he's not as on board with the system as the rest of the TVA.
Which I can see.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a likable character in this show with an established, governing body. So, and also his faith in Loki is already a big separation from the rest of the people he associates with. And Loki is, by his nature, a rogue.
A dick
As well.
So Loki's all like, only order, no chaos. Sounds boring.
In reference to the whole heaven concept.
Yeah. So he's like, you called me a small child. He's like, but no child knows what I know. Well, what's that? No one bad is ever truly bad. No one good is ever truly good. What's that line? And I think it's in a Ludo song. I can't remember. Something about saints are sinners, sinners are saints.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But, I mean, and it's true.
Every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future. That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's true. hence free will.
Right. So
Which I think Loki just kind of...
he kind of headcanoned himself. Because, like, it was in the same conversation. He was like, so there's no free will, but then disproves himself in the bringing up that old saying.
Yeah. However, Mobius focuses on scared little boy.
Right.
You're very clever, and runs off. Your theory is the kid with the gum was Loki.
Right. The kid with the gum from the first episode
Yeah.
where the Minutemen had been killed, and there was this kid just left there chewing some gum.
In, like, Joan of Arc era France.
With some clearly manufactured industrial era or post package of gum.
Also, the gum package has 9 units.
Yeah.
Oh, the check Nexus level events when that gum was in existence. Loki finds it, Alabama 2050. Which is closer than I'd like.
We may still be alive at that point.
Yeah. Gets wiped out by a hurricane. Mobius asks the judge to mobilize. She doesn't trust Loki. He's convinced that's where the variant is. She says there's not... no, what happened?
That's what she's convinced of.
She says there's not much she can do if it doesn't work out. They end with, for all time, always.
Always.
Mobius and Loki are excited. Loki hopes this will earn an audience with the timekeepers. B-15 briefs the team. I call her TVA bitch.
I accept this is her name now.
The variant always steals reset charges. So in Haven Hills, Alabama 2050. I say, turns out the hurricane is Wanda! Loki shows off his magic to dry his clothes. TVA bitch demands to investigate with Loki, and Mobius goes with C90. Loki calms Mobius down, so they split up. We see the variant is there, watching the security cameras and setting a 20-minute reset charge.
So Loki was right. This is where the variant's hiding.
They catch a customer shopping for plants in a hurricane. Loki says it might be him. And yep, it is. Possesses B-15. Loki says, me, I presume? How nice to meet you.
So this variant operates in a way we haven't really seen before. It's like a possessing spirit. Because she goes and touches the customer. You see some green magic happen. Customer falls to the floor, and suddenly B-15 is the variant.
Yeah.
So it's like there's this...
It's a possession thing.
It's a possession thing. And it jumps via touch, it seems like.
Yeah. So they find the chick from the beginning, C20, tied up. Mm-hmm. And she keeps saying, like, I told them where the TVA is. Or something. Like, she's super freaked out.
Yeah, I told him how to find the TVA.
Loki walks around with the variant, SC-15, B-15, who then jumps to an employee of the store they're in. Don't worry, they usually survive. Loki offers the variant a deal. The variant rejects the name Loki, says, call me Randy. The answer is no, not interested in ruling the Time Variance Authority. Meanwhile, C-20 gave away to the variant how to get to the timekeepers. B-15 wakes up. Loki and variant fight. Loki keeps telling the variant to stop hiding people. And Loki gets his ass kicked. What do you want from me? Brace yourself, Loki. Variant appears. It's some chick. Dun dun dun. She's wearing a Loki helmet, though. Not, like, big. Smaller.
But it still is similar to the helmet that he wore in Avengers.
Yeah, and has green glowy hands. A bunch of purple and orange charges disappear, and a bunch of time branches are created, and the TVA starts freaking out.
So the variant had hidden all these time charges, whatever they are, purple and orange, all throughout the store. And they all get set off, I guess.
And then sucked.
And then sucked into nothingness.
Which really fucks up the timeline, and that's why the TVA starts freaking out.
all these branches suddenly are created.
So the chick bails out in a time portal. Loki, seeing Mobius running towards him, hesitates a moment and then follows her as the door closes, which makes him look guilty to Mobius.
Yeah. So, basically, she disappears through the door, and Loki's kind of looking at the door like, do I go through and chase her, or do I not? And then after she's already gone, Mobius and the team see Loki and start running at him because they already think Loki is gone rogue.
Right, because B-15 wakes up and she doesn't she's like, he's gone.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember anything.
Right.
I think they could probably look at security footage. If there is any.
It's
2050.
Yeah, but there's a very small window because the hurricane is hitting. But, yeah, I guess they could. But...
Well, I think that's what it's going to be. Like, they're going to think that he betrayed them, but they're going to look back at the security footage and be like, oh, no, shit, he was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like, and
yeah.
I'm not convinced that Loki is actually trying to take over the TVA. I think he was just saying that to...
buy time and try to figure out what the variants' motives are.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. I don't know that he's gone full good, but, he's... old habits
but the
die
thing
hard.
Is, yes, old habits die hard, but the thing is, he saw how his life should have ended.
Yeah.
He was so emotional when he saw his moments with Thor.
Mm-hmm. He's gone pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, at least.
But he is the god of mischief, so he's going to do whatever he can to prove himself.
Yeah.
To prove that he is the person that he was meant to be all along.
And he likes Mobius.
He does.
So...
they've got great chemistry.
And I think that's where his hesitation came in. Because he's like, if I go through that door, Mobius is fucked.
But he's like, but I have to catch this.
But I have to catch this person and find out what's going on. So that's why he goes through, and it makes him look guilty, and Mobius is pissed. And so now Mobius is probably pretty sure Loki is a bad guy. We don't know where the door led. They just disappeared. That's where it ends.
So we'll see what happens on my birthday. For wasting 8 minutes at the beginning, that only took us 30 minutes to get through.
It's not bad for us.
Yeah. So.
All right.
For a 54-minute show? Yeah. Well, that's pretty good.
There you go.
All right.
Nice.